Greetings, my friends. I'm Gilles Mansillon. I thought I make a video a little bit different today to speak about the I Ching because last night I had a lot of shadows, a lot of fear, a lot of things that would come up, and when I woke up, I was a little. I needed to recenter myself, and so I asked the I Ching. The I Ching is a very old, ancient book of wisdom. I get the hexagram of limitation to accept the limitation of that are present without fighting against it, because when we accept the limitation we're going with the flow. And there was one changing line that turned into the lake, the joyous, the joyful. So it wasn't all that bad, but it's the first book. It's a book of transformation. It's very ancient book of wisdom that everybody in China throughout history you would always consult before taking important decisions. And the Ching is very faithful. I recommend, if you choose a book, the book of Richard Willem in English. But there's many other ones that could be fine as well. I put a link online right in in the comment in the description box where you can use. It's pretty. They don't have the commentary, but they have. It's very easy to use. If you never used it, I'm going to explain a way that's easy. You can ask your question with very great ease. For the history of the I Ching, it comes from Fuxi, is one of the wise men 10,000 years ago who invented the trigrams. For a yin and a yang is the Tao. Positive and a negative is the Tao. And Fuxi invented the trigram. It means there is three lines. Lines are either straight, yang, or open, yin, negative, and there is some on the Korean flag, for instance, trigrams, and so there is 8 trigrams, and then when you put 2 trigrams on top of each other, it comes to 64 hexagrams. So the trigrams, there is 8 families: the heaven and earth, the father and the mother, and then there is 3 sons and 3 daughters. The 3 sons are the mountains, the standstill, the keeping still, the standstill, not the keeping still, the water, and the awakener, the thunder, and then the daughters are the wind, the fire, and the lake, and so there is 64 hexagrams once you put 2 trigrams on top of one another. And so the best way the I Ching will always answer to your question in relationship to the wisdom of the natural cycle. It includes just all of the ways of the superior man. Whatever the situation is, he will give you what is the way of wisdom in relationship to your intention, in relationship to a situation. It's also relative to the whole cycle of seasons of the earth. Personally, I used it. It was my first series of paintings. It's the first book that awakened me to spirituality in the mid-80s, 1980s. I learned the book by heart. I was like really fascinated by this book, and when I started, I was doing a series of pastel on the images of the Ching 64 pastel, and that's the first series of art that I would say, well, that's it. I'm going to become an artist because I made this series of 64 pastels. For each hexagrams were given an image and a judgment. Thousands of years ago by the King Wen and the Duke of Chu. During the time of there were great wars in China. There was a great deal of division, and so they organized those hexagrams and gave them an image and a judgment. And the latest addition to these books were made by Confucius, Lao Tzu, Mencius. So there is a few additional information because those people use the I Ching also to look for wisdom in the situation. They made some comments that are useful as well, that are included in the book of Willem. And then later on, I'm planning to make some to study of art, to continue the study of art in relationship to the 64 hexagram, the 64 state of change and transformation, as well as the hexagrams or the images. So the way to use it, there is many ways to consult the oracles. The easier way is to take a pen and a paper and 3 coins. The coins has to be any coins as long as they have a head and tail. you consider that you're gonna throw those 3 coins 6 times, and you go from bottom to top. And every time when you throw 3 coins, there could be 3 tails, 3 head, 2 head and a tail, 2 tail and a head. That's the only way. So when you see that the yin head is 2 and the yang tail is 3, you're gonna have 6, 7, 8, or 9. When it's so you throw your coin. So it's like there's only those 4 possibilities. If you have 2 head and a tail, it is a yin. It is so it's an open line. You make a line and an open line. If it's 3 tail and a head, then you have a straight line. And and then when you have 3 heads, then it's you make a circle, and that means it is a yin that's transforming into a yang. And if you have 3 tails, it is a yang, a 9, that is transforming into a yin. So you throw your coins, and then you take notations, and then you consult the book of the book of change. And so if you have if you only have 2 and 1, then there is no line that you need to read. You just go to read what the hexagram is about, and you read the image and the judgment. It will give you some wisdom in relationship to whatever question you're asking. Now, if you have 3 heads or 3 tails, you will read it. You will read the hexagrams, and then you go to the lines. The lines below are telling you where they're very specific, and they will give you specific judgment and images in relationship to the change that are specific to your questions. And so they create they reverse to the opposite. So if you have 3 heads, it will turn into a tail. If you have 3 tails, it will turn into a head. For instance, if just take an easier example. If you have the first hexagram, number 1, so it's like you have 3 tails, 3 tails, 3 tails, 3 tails, 3 tails, 3 tails, 6 times. So you just read the number 1, the heaven, and then you read all the lines, because they're all changing. And then you read number 2, the hexagram number 2, which is the earth, the receptive, that turns into it's all the yang that turn into yin. So I hope this will inspire you to utilize, to seek out the wisdom of the I Ching. It's always been a very faithful guide. I don't do it very, very often now anymore, but and if you have any question, I thank you to leave it in the comments. I hope my explanations were easy enough for you to be able to consult it and use that book, use that wisdom. The sites I put in is fairly easy to use. It's interactive. You find the hexagrams that you find, and you click on it. You will open up to the line of the hexagrams, and then once you have the change, you look for the other hexagram that has transformed, and you go to the other hexagrams. The transformed hexagram, you don't need to read the line. You don't need the line of the first one. When you have a 6 or a 9, when you have three tails or 3 heads. And so I hope you will enjoy this practice if you haven't used it yet. The book I recommend is the book of Richard Willem. It's maybe easier with physical paper book. It's a yellow book, and there is all the comments at the end that you probably won't find it on the website, but it's still fairly good enough to figure it out. Well, thank you very much for liking, sharing, commenting, for subscribing. I thank you for your donations if you can. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.